anybody could have predicted.
The 9/11 was a false flag operation.
Molten steel running down the channel.
Intended to authorize the document.
I've been watching you badger some guy up at Columbia.
Now that reporter, he doesn't go after real targets, okay?
All right, good enough. Real good job there.
Thank you.
Who are you going to go hassle next?
I don't know.
This guy is not an investigative reporter, okay? Anybody that speaks out against the war machine, he goes and attacks like a vicious dog, okay? No substance to it, no responsibility to his actions. His idea is to flash mob somebody and manipulate whatever they say and then put that out on the internet to try to discredit them. That's all he's doing. You don't see him going to the Pentagon looking for pictures of the Pentagon. 7 years later, we still ain't got neither picture of a plane that hit the Pentagon, even though we got 82 cameras confiscated, and each second got 30 frames. The government released 3 frames. Now, how can you not release the picture of something that brought in the Patriot Act?
All right, let me switch gears. North Korea, they're about to launch something. What are we going to do about North Korea? What should we do about it?
I think we should be very worried. My good friend and co-author Bill Fortune just wrote a book called 1 Second After, which is a novel about what happens with an electromagnetic pulse attack. There's no question that the newest kind of nuclear weapons, 3 of them right at the right altitude, could eliminate all electricity production in the United States, which includes your car. It would mean that basically we would go back to a pre-industrial era overnight, in seconds.
His best friend wrote a book, so all of a sudden he knows all about everything because his best friend wrote a book. Okay, look, who the hell is going to attack America? America's going to go to North Korea and just wipe it completely off the face of Earth. Who's going to waste? They're going to build a bomb and go attack America. You got any idea how stupid that is? It's fear-mongering. It comes from Fox. It's fear-mongering, okay? It's absolutely ridiculous.
A very serious threat. I don't think North Korea should be allowed to launch missiles. I think we should take whatever preemptive actions are necessary. The idea that we're going to suddenly be shocked one morning because one of these missiles has a nuclear weapon and does something that dramatically changes America.
He says we should take preemptive action against what? A threat that's been locked into a country for 50 years. What are they going to do? Use a magic wand and appear somewhere else? These people have nothing, okay? They've been sanctioned for 50 years because the Americans couldn't beat them in a war. They surrounded them and starved them to death for 50 years. They created North Korea the way it is. It's not North Korea's fault that they ended up having to fight for their very existence for 50 years. Americans surrounded them and harassed them, cut off all supplies to them, isolated them by chastising any country that supplied them. It's a total genocide against the population.
And that's our lead story tonight on The Factor. There was always this crew, this anarchist crew, these people who can't fit into society. They're angry for whatever reason, and they want to cause trouble. They've always been there. But now they're coordinated by the Internet. Now they can talk to each other. It's like child molesters, you know? I mean, the child molesters have always been around, but now they got a place to go and gather and do their evil deeds.
Now, the far left websites fear greatly the vicious guy, Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters is now the subject of far left angst because he goes out and talks to the bad guys. Tell us about that.
So anybody who protests against the G20 is a child molester in Bill O'Reilly's book. Do you got any idea how ridiculous that is? Do you have any concept of how disgusting and immoral it is for him to say that? People that want to stand up to a corrupt system, he doesn't say the G20 is full of Bilderbergers, the Bilderberg Group. He attacks them because the Bilderberg Group owns Fox News. It's absolutely ridiculous. If people go out and protest, they're a child molester. Have you lost your mind, Bill?
Want to get to some health news now. A groundbreaking new medical study just out that could help you fix your genetic flaws. Did you even know you had any?
Fix your genetic flaws. Your genetic flaws. You have a flaw, okay? If you're not one of them, you got a flaw. That's what they're telling you. They're telling you got a flaw, and it's got to use their new DNA sequencing devices that happens to be their company's friends. It's absolutely disgusting. It's putting you down, making you think they're doing the best thing for you. They're putting you down. They're not telling you any news. They're just feeding you fluff. Another angry day.
We're very lucky to have with us live in the studios this morning, once again, Tom Carpenter, who is Executive Director of Hanford Challenge. Start out, if you would. You formerly worked at the Government Accountability Project, and now you are the Executive Director of Hanford Challenge. Tell us about Hanford Challenge.
Well, Hanford is a mess. We have not benefited from the Bush administration's oversight of the cleanup. They put in place early in the administration something called accelerated cleanup of the Hanford site. So cleanup that was going to take 50 to 100 years, suddenly they were trying to compact into a 20-year period and save money doing it. Well, okay, look behind the curtain on that one, and what you find is they're not planning to do a lot of cleanup. They weren't planning to go after the groundwater contamination. Well, Hanford has 200 square miles of contaminated groundwater below the site there, and that is spreading over time because the contaminants in the soil are leaking at a constant rate into the into the groundwater. There's actually a slowdown in cleaning up some of the worst at Hanford, which is the waste, high-level nuclear waste in these underground tanks. So Hanford has 177 million-gallon tanks buried beneath the soil, and these tanks were the recipient of some of the high-level radioactive waste that came from the reprocessing of nuclear fuel. This is probably the most dangerous stuff on the planet ever. Very, very small quantities of this waste. And it's been said that a Dixie cup full of this waste in a crowded restaurant, everyone would be dead in the restaurant inside of an hour. Even the amount that would fit on the leg of a fruit fly is considered a problem dose. And that's happened at Hanford. Fruit flies have landed on contaminated materials and then flown off to go to the lunchroom and deposit contamination on food and on tables and whatnot, and they've had to evacuate a 20-acre area at the Hanford site because of hot fruit flies and wasps. So this waste in these tanks is very dangerous in small quantities, and it has another feature, which is it's dangerous for very, very long periods of time. And the great bulk of it is dangerous for hundreds of years by volume, but it doesn't matter because the volumes are so huge, 55 million gallons in these tanks. So even if you have 5 pounds of plutonium, that stuff is dangerous for 250,000 years. Some elements are dangerous for millions of years. So you've got a situation where you have to take these wastes and somehow keep them away from the living environment for many years.
Here we are again, fingers on my skin, and I'm awake. Honey, warmth of sin, how you hold me in when I'm okay. You're a sinking ship, and I'm a shy million miles away. Feel the rush of love, feel the fear of what we've yet to say. Am I on your high tonight? Just 'cause I'm still standing don't mean I'm alright. I'm not going home without you by my side. It's not over for me. We can make this work. Don't you think it's worth the in-between? Been around the world, I'm your favorite girl, I'm all you see. Spin around again, take a photograph of you and me. All I want is you, feel you